demonstrate the skills in preparing and interpreting grades. Also, you should be able to assess the effectiveness of parent-teacher conference as a venue for reporting learners' performance. Chapter entitled Learning Outcome. At the end of this chapter, you are expected to demonstrate skills in interpreting test results and reporting of grades.
Salamat ka, Lucien. Tama?
Opo.
Okay, present content, we are going to study the K-12 grading of learning outcomes. Learning outcomes, ano ang tawag sa learning outcomes? Ibang tawag?
Objectives po, sir.
Objectives. Sino yun?
Kalabana po.
Kalabano. Kailan natin tinawag na learning outcome yan? Bakit naging learning outcomes ang tawag sa objectives?
OBE po.
OBE. Kalusin?
Opo.
Okay, it's because of the OBE. We'll also talk about the effects of grading on students, building a grading and reporting system. The basis of good reporting is good evidence. The major purposes of grading and reporting, the grading and reporting methods, and developing effective reporting system. Meron din tayong tools for comprehensive reporting system ng grades, guidelines for better practice and planning and implementing the PTC or the PTA, the Parent-Teacher Conference. So, as an overview, ang primary goal ng paggagrado at pagre-report nito ay communication. It is very important that we communicate the grades first to our students, second to the parents, especially kung ikaw ay nasa nasa secondary level. Mas bata ang estudyante, mas malaki ang responsibilidad mong i-communicate ang grades ng iyong estudyante sa kanyang mga magulang. Pag medyo matanda na, medyo hindi na. Katulad ng college, hindi na involved si parents. So grading and reporting are integral parts of the instructional process. Bahagi ito ng sistema ng edukasyon na meron tayo sa Pilipinas. Bagaman merong mga bansa na hindi nag-i-implement ng numerical grading or walang gradong natatanggap ang bata. They just focus on the learning itself of the concepts or the lessons na itinuturo. But still, since we are under the system that we have in the Philippines, so grading and reporting are integral parts of our instructional process. Good reporting is based on good evidence. Mas maganda ang ebidensya, mas maganda ang reporting. Mas maraming quizzes, mas maraming exams, mas maraming activities, pero wag naman to the point that will exhaust the students, pero yung sapat, good evidence will create good report. Changes in grading and reporting are best accomplished through the development of a comprehensive reporting system. Okay, let's talk about the K-12 grading of learning outcomes. So what is the DepEd K-12 grading system? The K-12 basic education program uses a standards and competency-based grading system. Itong mga standards na ito at competencies na ito ay matatagpuan natin sa curriculum guides. All grades will be based on the weighted raw score of the learner's summative assessments. The minimum grade needed to pass a specific learning area is 60, which is transmuted to 75 in the report card. It will be maiintindihan niyo later on. So, ang lowest mark na pwedeng lumabas sa card ng ating K-12 student ay 60 per quarterly grades and for the final grades. For this guidelines, the department issue a floor grade considered as the lowest possible grade. Excuse me. Pag sinabing floor grade, yun yung pinakamababang grade na pwede mong mabigay sa estudyante. So kung hindi siya pumasok, walang activity, walang quiz, walang kung ano man, 60 ang lalabas sa card. Learners from grades 1 to 12 are graded on, tatlo ang pinagkukuhanan ng grades natin, pag grade 1 to grade 12. We have the written works, the performance task, and the quarterly assessment. Walang attendance, walang attitude. So, depende kay teacher kung paano niya i-incorporate sa written work ba, sa performance task ba, yung ibang mga considerations. So these three are given specific percentage weights that vary according to the nature of the learning area. Pag sinabing learning area, it talks about the subject. Magkakaibang subject, magkakaiba ang bigat ng written works, performance task, at quarterly assessment. So paano nire-record at kinukompute ang grade ng ating mga estudyante? Kung kindergarten ang estudyante mo, checklist and anecdotal records ang ginagamit instead of numerical grades. So pag kinder, walang numerical grades. These are based on the learning standards found in the curriculum guides for the kindergarten. Yung anecdotal records, ginagamit yan ng mga teachers ng kinder to measure behavior or effective domain of learning of our kindergarten students. So it is important for teachers ng kinderhat to keep a portfolio, which is a record or compilation of the output, yung mga sinulat ng bata, yung mga tinrace ng bata, mga kinulay ng bata. It is very important for the teacher to keep all those portfolios since walang numerical grades na i-issue sa bata. So the portfolio can provide concrete evidence of how much or how well the learner is able to accomplish the skills and competencies. Sa pamamagitan ng checklist, chine-checkan lang ni teacher kung nagawa ba ito ng bata o hindi. So through anecdotal records, gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, ang other term is narrative reports. Napag-usapan na natin yung anecdotal records. So teachers will be able to describe the behavior of the learners, the attitude, and the effort in schoolwork. Punta tayo sa grades 1 to 12. Pag grade 1 to grade 12, sa grading period, merong isang quarterly assessment. Familiar naman kayo dyan kasi dumaan tayo lahat dun sa grades 1 to 10. Ha? 190 ah. Thank you. Okay. So may quarterly assessment, yung first quarter exam, second quarter exam, third and fourth quarter exam. So, but there should be instances for students na dapat makaproduce din kayo ng written works and to demonstrate performance task mula week 1 hanggang matapos ang quarter. Ilang quarter meron sa isang taon?
4.
4 po.
Sino yung una nagsalita?
Ako po, Unless po.
Unless. Ilang linggo sa isang quarter?
Ako pa rin po ba, sir?
Hindi. Kung sino gusto sumagot.
8 po ba,
Ilan?
sir?
8? No?
10 weeks po.
Okay. It's 9 to 10. Usually 9 kasi nagkakaroon ng mga walang pasok. So, 9 weeks in a quarter or 10 weeks in a quarter. Sa loob ng 10 linggo, yung dulong linggo, allotted natin for quarterly assessment. Pero, in between, ikaw naman teacher, abay magpa-written works ka, wala kang mag-grade at magpa-performance task ka. So, there is no required number of written work. Kung gusto mo 20, kung gusto mo 5, kung gusto mo 10, bahala ka. Basta dapat meron kang substantial written works. Tapos, wala ding bilang na tinatalaga sa performance task, pero dapat ay mas maganda yung sapat. Hindi kulang, hindi sobrang dami. Okay? Yes, may magsasalita. Wala. Okay, so how to compute for final grades and general average in DepEd K-12 grading system. So the following are the steps in computing for the final grades. Step 1, grades from all student work are added up. Pinagsasama-sama, pinagpa-plus-plus ang lahat ng grades mula sa student works. Siyempre, magkakahiwalay yan ng category. Iba yung na-accomplish mo sa mga quizzes, which is part of the written works. Iba yung na-accomplish mo sa performance task. Pwedeng rubrics, galing sa rubrics ang grade. Activities, role play, presentation, oral report, yung mga ganyan. And iba rin yung sa quarterly assessment. But sa dulo, pinagpa-plus-plus natin siya lahat. So the raw scores from each component have to be converted to a percentage score. So yung raw score, kailangan siya maging percentile. So this is to ensure that values are parallel to each other. So the step 2, the sum of each component is converted to the percentage score. So to compute the percentage score or the PS, you divide the raw score by the highest possible score, then multiply the quotient by 100, and it will become percentage. So percentage score is equals to the raw score divided by the highest possible score times 100. Ngayon, kung nagpa-quiz ako ng 1 to 10, tapos ang tama mo ay 6, anong percent mo?
60%.
Napakagaling. Ang hirap nun ha. Sino ka? Sino yung nagsalita?
Marco po.
Marco. Okay. So that's 60%. Step 3. So mula sa raw score, naging PS, which is the percentage score. Then the percentage scores, kino-convert naman natin siya into weighted scores to show the importance of each component in promoting learning in the different subjects. So to do this, the percentage score is multiplied by the weight of the component found in the succeeding table. May papakita akong table. For grades 1 to 10 and table 2 for senior high school, magkakaiba kasi ng weight ng ating mga weighted score. Kung baga sa SLSU, may percentage for recitation, may percentage for major exam, may percentage for mga performance. Katulad ngayon, ang performance task natin ay 60%. So, yun yung tinatawag natin na weighted score. Okay, so nakukuha ang weighted score sa pamamagitan ng yung percentage score kanina, katulad ng 60, i-multiply mo siya sa weight of component, depende kung halimbawa sa written works 30%, edi you multiply it with 0.30. Okay, so this is the table 1, weight of the components for grades 1 to 10. Pakitake note ha, grade 1 to 10 po ito. So, pag grades 1 to 10, ang languages, AP, ano yung AP?
Araling panlipunan po.
Sino una nagsalita? Babae.
Raymond po.
Ah, babae.
Marco po.
Ah, si Marco ulit. Okay. Ano yung ESP?
Edukasyon sa
Edukasyon sa pagkakatao.
Sabay-sabay, hindi ko na alam kung sino. Okay na yan. Okay. So, anong mga subjects sa languages?
English.
English, Filipino.
Filipino. Meron pa ba?
Native language.
Mother tongue.
Mother tongue.
Electives. Elective na ba?
May electives. Wow, private school.
Okay.
So, kung ito ang mga subject mo, ang written works dyan, 30%. Ang performance task, 50%. Ang quarterly assessment, 20%. Ito yung disenyo ni OBE. Si OBE, mataas lagi si performance task. So, gone were the days na tipong hindi ako papasok ng mahabang panahon. Tapos pag examen na, papasok ako. Kasi pag naipasa ko yung quarterly assessment, papasa ako. Hindi na yun posible. O maliit na yung chance nung ganong setup sa kasalukuyan. Simply because, tingnan nyo, ang baba na ngayon ng quarterly assessment. Compare sa performance task at sa written works na ginagawa mo daily sa loob ng klase. That's one of the changes na nangyari because of the outcome-based education. Kung science and math ang hawak mo, written works mo is 40, performance task mo is 40, quarterly assessment mo is 20. Kung MAPE naman yan, edukasyon sa pantahanan ba yan? Pangkabuhayan, pantahanan, or TLE, 20% for written works, mas mataas sa performance tasks kasi yan medyo mataas sa psychomotor itong mga subjects na ito. And the quarterly assessment, still 20%. So, depende sa subject na kukumputan mo, ang lalapatan mo ng weighted score. So, the grading system for senior high school, it follows a different set of weights for each component. So, magkaiba sa core at magkaiba sa track subjects. Kapag grades 11 to 12, ang written work natin sa core subjects, example nga ng core subjects,
ICT.
ano?
Hindi ko alam pa.
Mathematics.
Okay, ano pa?
English.
Science.
Kayo ba may
English at science.
nung senior high school, may subject kayo na English, ang tawag?
Hindi, oral communication.
Oral
Communication po.
Meron po, sir.
English?
English
Oral
for
ko po yung tawag.
Purposive communication po.
Purposive communication,
Art and
oral
science.
communication, EE.
Meron po sir
Okay.
English yung sa EAPP po.
Anyway.
Academic and
O, sige. Pag sinabing core, kumbaga sa college ay yung minor, lahat ng subject ito ay tinitake. Lahat ng tracks, lahat ng strand tinitake ang core. So kung core subject ang hawak mo, written works 25, performance 50, quarterly assessment 25. Ilang linggo ang isang subject sa senior high? Ilang quarter na lang?
Dalawa po.
Dalawa lang kasi nakasemestral tayo, di ba? Okay. Kung iba pang mga subjects ang hawak mo, kung under ka ng academic track, anong meron sa academic track?
Gas.
Gas,
STEM.
Po.
STEM,
BM. YUM.
ABM.
ABM at saka UMS.
Okay. So kung academic track ang handle mo, other subjects, kung hindi siya core, kung hindi siya work immersion, research, business, enterprise, simulation, exhibit, and performance, ito ang gagamitin. Pero kung work immersion yan, etc., ito ang gagamitin. Kung TVL ang hawak mo, sports o kaya arts and design, lahat sila pantay-pantay. Except sa core, so you have 20, 60 per performance, and 24 quarterly assessment. So the sum of the weighted scores in each component is the initial grade. Ibig sabihin, kung anong makuha ng bata sa written works, sa performance task, at sa quarterly assessment, pinagsasama-sama natin siya. Ang tawag doon ay initial grade. Then mula sa initial grade, base sa the DepEd Order number 8, series of 2015, the policy guidelines on classroom assessment for the K-12 basic education program, ito ang transmutation table na ginagamit natin. So mula sa nakuha mong initial grade, titingnan ni teacher sa transmutation table kung saan magpo-fall ang grade mo, tapos ang isusulat niya sa card, itong transmuted grade. Si DepEd ay merong Excel file na electronic class record. Hindi na kailangan tumingin ni teacher dito sa transmutation table kasi matik na lumalabas ang grade ng bata. I-input mo lang yung kanyang highest possible score, tapos anong score ng bata. Nag-a-add siya ng pusa, tapos nagko-compute siya ng pusa. So the quarterly grade for each learning area sinusulat sa report card. Ang tawag natin dyan ay Form 138. For a better understanding of how to record the summative assessments, Table 6 presents a sample class record showing 3 learners for the first quarter of Grade 4 English. Okay. So ito ay isang example ng class record. Adapted, kinuha, excerpt mula sa DO number 8 series of 2015. So we have written works. Anong subject ito? Anong subject?
English.
Grade?
Grade 4.
Grade 4.
Okay, English grade 4. So ang written works ay 30, ang performance task ay 50, ang quarterly assessment ay 20%. Inaral niyo na ba ang narinig ko yung boses ko. Inaral, no, hindi ko na pala itatanong. You should have studied Excel sa mga subjects na related siya. So, we have the highest possible score. Let's say, quiz 1, 20 items. Si learner A, 18 ang tamang sagot. Si learner B, 19. Si learner C, 9. Written works 2, 25 ang perfect. 22 si A, 15 si B, 11 si C. Hanggang makarating din sa ikapito. So, natapos na ang quarter. Kinompute. 18 plus 22 plus 20 hanggang dito, ang sagot, 145. 145 divided by 160 times 100 is equals to 90.63. 90.63 times 0.3 is equals to 27.19. Naiintindihan yon?
Opo.
Opo, sir.
Okay. Basic lang ano, ha? Okay, next. Pag plus-plusin si learner B, total 94. Divided by 160 times 100, 58.75 times 0.3, 17.63. And so with learner letter C or learner C. For performance test is the same. This is the highest possible scores. Ang total ay 120. Ito ang score ng bata. Ang total 100. I-divide sa 120 times 100, 83.33 times 0.5, 41.67. Hanggang baba. And for the quarterly assessment, 1 to 50, naka-40 si A, divide by 50 times 100, 80 times 0.2, 16. And this one and this one. Para makuha ang initial grade, pagpa-plus-plusin natin si 27.19, si 41.67, at si 16. Ang nakuhang grade ng bata, 84.86. Babalik ka sa transmutation. Anong ang grade?
84 po.
Nandito siya. So, ang transmuted grade ng bata ay ito. 90. Nagets?
Opo.
Opo, sir.
Okay. Kaya 90 si Tutoy. Pwedeng ma-honor?
Pwede po.
Kasi
Opo.
C. O, dadaanan. O, tingnan mo rin si Tutoy Bait. Letter C. Pag pinagsama-sama, 47.98. 47.98. Ito. So, 71. Kaya si Tutoy ay 71. Ngayon, kung walang ipinasok ang bata, absent. Pumasok lang ng umpisa. Wala nakita. 0. 60. So, ang makikita sa card, 60. Okay? Hindi 50, hindi 30, hindi 20. 60. Malinaw?
Opo, sir.
Okay. Ito mga sunod na slides. Ito yung step by step. Ito yung kanina. Ito yung score niya. 145 over 160. Ito yung performance. Napag-usapan na natin kanina. Ayan yung details. Yan. Sa dulo, nakuha na yung grade. 90. Ito yung learner A. For MAPE, medyo matrabaho kung MAPE major ka. Kasi for K-12, ang MAPE, individual grades are given to each area. So, ibang grade sa music, ibang grade sa arts, ibang grade sa PE, ibang grade sa health. Tapos, ang quarterly grade mo for MAPE is the average of the quarterly grades in the 4 areas. So, yung quarterly grade sa music, quarterly grade sa arts, quarterly grade sa PE, quarterly grade for health, plus mo, divide mo 4, simple averaging, that's your quarterly grade for MAPE. Kaya kung ikaw ay MAPE teacher, compare mo kay English teacher, si English ay nagpapa-written works, nagpapa-performance tasks at nagpapa-quarterly assessment. Si MAPE, iba ang written works mo sa music, iba ang written works mo sa arts, sa PE, at sa health. Tapos sa performance task, ganun din. Sa quarterly assessment, ganun din. No? Kaya medyo mas madami sila. May MAPE ba ang senior high school?
PE lang.
PE po, PE.
Meron po, sir.
Wala.
PE lang po.
PE and
PE
health.
po,
Diba?
PE.
Dahil nagturo ako dati ng PE and health senior high school. So, paano naman ngayon ang grade kino-compute at the end of the school year? So, for kindergarten, no numerical grades. Kanina pa natin yung pinag-uusapan. Descriptions of the learner's progress in the various learning areas are represented gamit ang checklist at student portfolios. Anong ginagamit nga pag magre-report ng behavior, attitude, effort?
Anecdotal po.
Anecdotal records or narrative reports. For grades 1 to 10, ang quarterly grade produces the final grade. So, yung first quarter grade mo, second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter grade divided by 4. Siyempre, kung ikaw ay senior high, ay di dalawa lang. First quarter and second quarter for the first sem and third quarter and fourth quarter for the second sem. Divided by 2 lang siya. No? Yung pinagsama-samang final grades ng lahat ng subject, divide by kung ilan ang subject mo, yun ang iyong general average. So, example, Filipino 80, 89, 86, 84, average 85. Average nito, 86. Average nito, 85. No. Bawal po ang may decimal places. So, we report cards as whole numbers. Except that, ewan ko lang sa ibang, pero siguro naman uniform, kasi sa Division of Lucena, nung nasa DepEd pa ako, pag general average, dinudugsongan namin yun ng 3 decimal places. Let's say 86.112. Pag general average lang. But the rest, they are whole numbers. For grades 11 and 12, gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, 2 quarters. So example, second sem ito, quarter 3 and quarter 4, ang course niya ay ABM. So ito ang kanyang mga subjects. Grade 11, so divided by 2 lang. Ito yung kanyang general average for the semester. Ayon sa DepEd Order number 36 series of 2016, policy guidelines on awards and recognitions for the K-12 basic education program, pwedeng magkaroon ng with honors ang lahat ng mag-aaral na magkakaroon ng markang 90 to 94, with high honors for 95 to 97, and with highest honors for 98 to 100, provided na wala kang bagsak na subject. Pwedeng line of 7, basta walang bagsak. At ang general weighted average mo ay papasok sa criteria na ito. Ngayon, kung ikaw naman ay honor, bakit ka naman po magpapaline of 7 sa isang subject? Hindi ba? Pag sumikapang mabalanse ang ating mga hinahawakang subjects. Tanong? May tanong?
Wala po.
Okay, let's talk about the effects of grading on students. May epekto ba sa inyo ang marka, ang grado?
Opo.
Talaga? Oh.
Meron
Anong
po.
epekto? Anong effect?
Ano sir, nakaka-pressure sir kapag mababa yung nakukuha ang ano.
Yes. Tsaka minsan depende sa affective level mo. Minsan kasi ay mababa ang grade, nakaka-challenge. O kaya mababa ang grade, ay nakakatamad. Ayaw ko na. Ganito lang din naman pala. No? Pero pag mataas ang grade, nakaka-boost. Ano, yung tipong...
Motivate sir kapag mataas ang grade.
Ano ka motivate? Pag mataas ang grade, nakaka-motivate. Okay.
Sir, kasi parang pag-iigihan mo palalo eh. Parang ganun.
Kaya po yung mga bumagsak ng term 1 sa PED 07, alam nyo naman kung bakit bumagsak, di ba? Wala namang sinungalingan. Yan. Pag nagbibigay ng grade, huwag magsisinungaling. Tandaan mo, yung lagi naman nating sinasabi kapag orientation, bilang estudyante, karapatan mo ang bumagsak. Kung kabagsak-bagsak ka at ipinasa ka, ay may karapatan ka magreklamo. Kasi wala ka namang natutunan eh, di ba? So karapatan mo ang, kailangan mong matanggap yung karapatan na iyon. So the effects of grading of students, according to page ng 1958, it illustrated that while grades may not be compulsory for teaching or learning, hindi naman talaga, di ba? Kasama nga lang siya sa sistema. Kaya kailangan mo mag-grade. Pero yung pagkatuto mo, minsan nga yung grade mo, hindi naman ito nagde-define ng kung ano lahat ng natutunan mo, di ba? So, hindi siya compulsory for teaching or learning kasi pwede ka namang matuto o pwede mas magaling ka ba dun sa may flat 1 kahit tres ka. Ba? It can be used, however, in positive ways to enhance students' achievement and performance. It also showed that positive effects can be gained with relatively little effort on the part of the teachers. Example, yung batang tinatakan mo sa kamay ng stickers na very good o kaya may 3 star, wala namang ginawa kundi nagtatak lang, pero that simple effort or little effort from the teacher can produce significant positive effect on the performance of the students. Next, building a grading and reporting system. So ang basihan, gaya ng sinabi kanina, ng good reporting is good evidence. Whatever the format is, grading and reporting should provide high-quality information to the interested person by means of any schema or prior knowledge they can understand and use. Hindi naman naiintindihan ng magulang kung paano mo kinumpute yung grades na yan. Kaya mag-ingat po tayo sa kung paano tayo nagko-compute kasi baka meron tayong pagkakamali. Pag lumapit ang magulang, make sure na maipaliwanag mo kung bakit ganito ang grado o markang nakuha ng kanyang anak. So, ang high-quality information ay mga critical na ebidensya sa student learning. And make sure that grades are always ready at hand. Kapag bigla kang pinasok ng supervisor mo, ng master teacher mo, ng principal mo, ng magulang, meron ka dapat laging ready at hand na listahan ng iyong grades. Okay. The three qualities of goodness of evidence should be, first, it should be valid. It refers to the appropriateness, kaugmaan, katamaan, kasapatan ng interpretations na ginawa mo mula sa information or data na nakuha mo. So if an assessment is to be used to describe students' reading comprehension make sure na ang paraan ng pagmamarka mo at ang paraan ng pag-assess mo ng estudyante ay nakabase sa comprehension at hindi sa kung anumang irrelevant factors. No. For reliability, the second quality, it refers to the consistency of assessment results. It attained very similar scores kapag ginamitan mo ng same assessment procedures yung bata. Alam mo na, di ba pinsan, pinapaulit sa'yo yung exam for checking reliability. Halimbawa, duda ka kung yun bata ang nagsagot. Then, in-oral examine mo yung bata. Tinanong mo siya because you're checking for the reliability. It's the same with the information and with the data and the grades that we are giving the students. Make sure that it is reliable. Kaya minsan teachers compare grades. Halimbawa, sa akin siya ay 3. Tapos sa iba pang mga teachers ay 1.25. So you can revisit kung paano kasi baka meron din namang pagkakamali along the way. Nangyayari yan lalo na sa pagbabagsak. Sa lahat ng teacher, bagsak, pero sa'yo 80. Ano nangyari? No, so you need to investigate and check on the reliability of the data. Next is the quantity. Mas madaming ebidensya on the student's learning, the better information can be reported. No? Kung ikaw ay sa 10 linggo, isang quiz. 1 to ilan yung quiz mo? 1 to 5. Diyos ko po, hindi siya enough basis para magbigay ng grado. Isang quiz, 1 to 5. Isang performance task. Tapos, yung quarterly assessment, isa lang talaga yun. Pero, we need to produce adequate, sapat. Hindi sobrang dami, hindi sobrang konti. Okay. The major purposes of grading reporting is 1, tayo naman ako yung pagod.
Tara ako.
Okay.
Building a grading and reporting system. Major purposes of grading and reporting: to communicate the achievement status of students to parents and others, to provide information that students can use for self-evaluation, and to select, identify, or group students for a certain educational paths or programs.
Ay, akala ko mag-explain ka.
Sige sir. Sir, ang major purpose daw po ng grading and reporting para daw po makita kung ano po ba yung mga na-achieve or level or status ng mga bata to parents and others.
May naibagsak ka na ba subject nung ikaw ay high school?
Wala po sir, pero meron po akong naging isang 76.
Pero napatawag ang magulang?
Opo sir, naging violente lang ako. Hindi na yung words lang.
Violent. Anyway,
Sir.
Clomera ka,
And-
tama?
Oh.
Sino ikaw?
Si Clomera, sir.
Okay, Clomera nga, tama. Okay, yung next.
To provide information that a student can use for self-evaluation. So yung purpose nitong grading and reporting, para daw makapag-provide ng enough information sa mga students na magagamit para sa assessment or self-evaluation ng students, kung ano ba yung mga natutunan nila. And then to select, identify, or group students for a certain educational paths or program. Ibig sabihin po dito, syempre makikita ng mga guro kung itong batang ito parang may ano siya, may capacity siya o abilidad na sa isang program makasali, parang ganun, sir. Kumbaga parang kasi na-evaluate ng teacher yan na itong halimbawa, for example, ito si Magalyon, pasok ito sa ganitong contest, parang ganun, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. At the same time, halimbawa, yung sa educational path, di ba, pag pumapasok kayo sa senior high, tinitingnan ba yung grade nyo nung junior high?
Opo, sir.
Pag STEM, kailangan mataas? Ganun ba?
Hindi naman po,
Meron
sir.
pong ganun,
Meron
sir.
pong
May ganun pong school.
May ganun.
So pag mababang grade, saan dapat lang nang pumapasok? Saan lang pwede pumasok?
Sir, may iba na halimbawa po, STEM, may school po na may ganun lang pong grades, tapos ibababa ka po sa gas, ganun po. Parang ganun.
Okay. So pag bobo sa gas?
Hindi naman, sir.
Hindi naman.
Hindi naman po, sir.
Kasi yung STEM, yung parang pang STEM kasi yung sinasabi nila, pang engineer, yung mga ganun po.
Maya. Maya. Anyway, it should never be something like that. No. We should make all those strands inclusive. Pagaman, gusto rin naman natin na mataas ang ating mga grado. Pero, katulad ng university, meron tayong karapatan sa selection or admission process. Kung hindi mo maabot ng grado mo yung kinakailangan ng kurso, alam kasi sa prediction na hindi katatagal at hindi mo matatapos ang course. Bagaman may mga margin of error yun, pero most of the time, ganun. No. Okay, so next. Thank you, Clamera.
To provide incentives for students to learn. To evaluate the effectiveness of instructional programs. To provide
Sige.
To provide evidence of students' lack of effort or inappropriate responsibility.
Explain.
So, yung una is to provide incentives for students to learn. Para po yung programming ko to provide evidence of students' effort or not. Para po may estudyante.
Okay, thank you, Magalyon. So, these are the different sources of grading and reporting system. So, saan kinukuha natin? Sa major exam, composition, class quizzes, reports, projects, student portfolios, exhibits of students' work, laboratory projects, students' notebook or journals, class observation, oral presentations, homework, class participation, work habits and fitness, effort, attendance, punctuality of assignments, class behavior, attitude, progress made. Bahala na si teacher kung saan niya kukuhain. Depende sa kung ano ang nature ng kanyang learning area. Okay, meron tayong 4 na uri ng grading and reporting methods. We have the letter grades, the percentage grades, the standard-based grading, and the pass-fail grading. Punta tayo sa letter grade. Ang pinakagamit and best known of all grading methods, but not in the Philippines, but in other countries, is the letter grade, or mostly composed of 5-level grading scale. It usually, schools include a key or legend on reporting for clarity. Let's say A A positive or B negative or F for failed or C, something like that. So yun yung tinatawag natin na letter grades. Hindi ko alam kung naabutan ninyo kasi sa K-12 at some point gumamit tayo ng B for beginning, P for approaching proficiency, P for proficient, A for advanced. Yun yung mga letter grades. At bawat isang letra ay may kanya-kanyang equivalent na quantitative data or numerical value at saka descriptive rating. Then next, we have the percentage grades. Ito yung ginagamit natin sa kasalukuyan sa DepEd. Your grade can range from 0 to 100, but because of the system that we are using, 60 ang lowest natin. So generally, more popular among the high school teachers than elementary teachers. So yung 52, 62, 85.25, 92 percentage grades ang tawag doon. Ano bang ginagamit ng SLSU? Anong gamit natin? Letter ba tayo?
Hindi po.
Hindi.
Number po.
Percentage ba tayo?
Hindi po.
Hindi rin po.
Hindi rin. Let's go. Baka yung kasunod. Next is the standards-based grading. So in an effort to bring greater clarity and specificity to the grading process, many schools initiated the standards-based grading procedures and reporting forms. So ganito ang itsura ng standard-based report card. May equivalent, let's say math. Anong grade ko? 3. So somehow, si SLSU is a little bit of 50% ano nga yung kanina? Numerical and 50% standard-based grading ang ginagamit. Kasi ito, may equivalent din siyang numerical eh. Katulad po 95. Okay, so that's the standard-based report card. For the advantages and disadvantages, basahin nyo na. Next is the pass-fail grading. This is the simplest alternative grading method available to educators. It reduces the number of grade categories to 2. Dalawa lang ang pagpipilian. It's either bumasa ka or bumagsak ka. Di ko, parang wala akong pakialam kung sobrang galing yung katabi mo at hindi naman masyadong magaling yung isa mo pang katabi, pero pareho ko yung pumasa. So you receive the same mark, which is pass. Ginagamit ito sa katulad ng NC, diba? Kahit sobrang galing niya, at itong isa medyo palpak at may mali, pero pareho naman silang pass. So, pass. Kung hindi mo na-perform, hindi fail. So that's pass or fail. In some universities, ang research or ang thesis ay wala ding grade na nilalagay. So it's either you accomplish it, then you pass. You never accomplish it, then you fail. No? Pero sa atin, may grade ang thesis. Okay, developing effective reporting system. Reporting system, kung paano na natin i-communicate yung na-compute natin na grado. Okay, sige. Sino? Mendoza. Ano na Mendoza? Hindi kita maintindihan. Elia. Romela. Elia. Napasok yata, hindi ko nakabantay. Oreo.
Yes po, sir.
Oreo.
The most critical.
Teka lang, may tatanong
Yes,
ako sa
po,
iyo.
sir.
Oo, may nanghingi ba
Opo,
sa'yo ng lesson plan?
Po,
May nagbigay sa'yo ng lesson plan?
sa akin po.
Oo.
Lesson.
Lesson plan? Oo, taga-kabilang section. May nahingi ba?
Kabilang section po, sir.
Opo.
Wala naman po, sir.
Wala. Kasi yung isang lesson plan na nire-require ko sa kabila ay ang nakalagay ay prepared by Porio.
Prepared po, sir. Baka
Yes.
po, sir, magpasa-pasa sa... may nag-ano po, sir, kaso po ay di ko po alam kung ano po yun.
Lesson plan for ICT. Huwag kayong basta-basta nagbibigay ng mga gawa nyo, ha?
Opo, sir. Ay, di ko po alam kung bakit po nakapunta sa ibang section.
Okay. Explain mo na yung nasa screen.
Wait lang po. Sir, the most critical issue to be addressed in selecting the tools included in reporting system is what purpose or purposes is to serve. So, yung mas critical issue daw po para ma-address yung sa developing effective is yung purpose or purpose ito serve, yung layunin po, sir, o yung dahilan kung paano ito i-report.
Okay, sige, okay na yan. The first question that we need to answer, bakit ko kailangang i-report? Ano ang kailangan kong i-report? Dapat may purpose. No? So you ask, what information or messages do we want to communicate? Anong gusto mo? Ba't ka nagpapatawag ng magulang? Who is the primary audience for that message? Sinong kakausapin mo? Yung magkakaklase? Yung mga magulang? Yung principal? O yung master teacher? No. How would we like that information or message to be used? Aanhin ba nila yung information na ibibigay mo? No. At pakitandaan din po na may data privacy po ang ating mga grado. Hindi po natin basta-basta pwedeng ipagkalandakan at ipakita sa kung sino mang co-teachers o kaya naman ay kahit sa magulang without the consent of the student. No. Next, the tools for comprehensive reporting system. So ito ang mga ginagamit natin para makapag-report tayo sa mga dapat nating pag-reportan. Magulang man yan, principal, o kung sino man na humihingi ng report. Report cards, yung notes na ginagamit at ina-attach natin sa report cards. Yung standardized assessment reports, katulad ng NCAI, NAT, yan. Phone calls to parents, yung weekly or monthly progress reports kung meron ka. Kung wala namang requirements na gumamit nito, pero mas maganda kung gagamitin mo siya, mas magkakaroon ka ng pagkakataong mas malimit na makipag-communicate sa mga parents. School open houses, newsletter to parents, personal letter to parents, evaluated projects or assignment. Minsan nag-personal letter ka, hindi naman dinadala ng bata. Kaya minsan humahantong tayo sa pagbisita sa bahay ng ating mga estudyante. Then we have portfolios or exhibits of the students' works, the assignments, pwede ring homework hotlines, school web pages, the PTC, pinakagamit, the student-teacher conferences, pwedeng group, pwedeng isa-isa, and the student-led conference. So, it is always good to begin with a clear statement of purpose when you are making a report. Provide accurate and understandable descriptions of learning. Huwag gumamit ng educational jargon, yung tipong kausap mo ang mga magulang pero ang pinagsasasabi mo ay mga educational jargon na hindi nauunawaan ng ating mga magulang. Always level your medium of communication sa kung sino ang iyong kaharap. Kasi for example, ang kaharap mong magulang ay hindi nakapag-aral. So, make sure na ang paraan ng iyong pagsasalita ay yung sa paraang kanyang mauunawaan. No? Hindi naman natin sinabi na kapag hindi nag-aral ay mahinang umintindi. Pero i-contextualize natin ang paraan ng ating pakikipag-usap sa kung sino ang ating kausap. No? So, use grading and reporting to enhance teaching and learning. For planning ng PTC, ang PTC is the most common way teachers communicate with parents about the student progress. ito ay face-to-face discussion, pero sa ngayon, ay di pwedeng online. It can be through phone or calls as well. May dalawang uri ng PTC, isang group, isang individual. Pag group, usually sa umpisa ng taon, ito yung magpapatawag ka ng magulang, tapos magbobotohan ng PTA officers, tapos ipapamanhik mo sa kanila na baka po ang ating po mga bata ay naiinitan sa loob ng classroom, baka po pwedeng mag-project ang PTA ng mga electric fans o mga kung ano mang kailangan mo sa classroom o pintura para sa board o para sa that's the group conference sa beginning ng year. Tapos nagsiset si president tsaka yung officers ng kung anong pwede nilang ma-accomplish within the year. Include the class policies, no? And class content. Meron tayong magandang relationship with the parents kasi hindi ka pababayaan ng mga yan if you have good relationship with them. Okay? Ipaliwanag ang evaluation procedure, ang expectations sa klase, procedures for getting in touch with teachers, at halimbawa, itong last. Yung procedures for getting in touch with teachers, ipaunawa na mga nanay, tatay, kapag naman po alas 12 na ng gabi, ay huwag na naman po kayong magte-text o tatawag. Ingatan naman ang tawag dito, i-respeto po natin ang privacy ng ating mga guro, something like that. Just an example. Pag individual conferences, ay di alam mo na ito. Most of the time, kapag mag-solong pinatawag ang magulang, ay di merong problema. Pero pwede rin naman kasing may lalabanan yung bata na national level. No? Or you are showing progress of the students. Minsan ang mga magulang ay laging busy. So, darating talaga kung magtuturo ka sa DepEd, ang mga pagkakataon na kailangan mong bisitahin ng personal ang kanilang mga bahay. So you should always prepare for the PTC. Huwag kang haharap sa magulang nang hindi ka handa. No? Organize all information in advance. Ilista ang areas pertaining to students na kailangan mong i-discuss. Point out the specific areas ng strength ng bata and weakness. Pag nakipag-usap sa magulang, ang una mong i-detalye ay ang kanyang strength bago ka pumunta sa kanyang weaknesses. No, maging malumanay sa pakikipag-usap. Kapag tinarayan ka ng magulang, edi always prim and proper, pigilan ng sarili, ingatan ng emosyon, at huwag makipag-away. Conference is not a lecture type conversation ito. So makinig ka sa sinasabi ng magulang. So before the conference, yan, ihanda ang mga sumusunod. During the conference, baka may dalang nanay yung bata. You provide childcare. Magbigay din ng merienda kung kaya ng budget kinakailangan. Pag walang budget, pag wala kang pera, manghingi ka kay principal. Baka may allotted for the MOOE. Kung kailangan ng transportation, sunduin. Bigyan. Sige. Next, after conference, ito yung mga bilin. Okay. Question.
Wala po, sir.
Buti pa yung manok na sagot na, no? Salamat. Okay. I will be discussing the module. Okay. So, explore. With the implementation of K-12 curriculum, analyze the grading system that it uses. What other grading methods will be more beneficial? Napalagay mo, alin ang mas beneficial? Yung old grading system or yung present grading system? Analyze its grading method, highlighting the positive points that it may contribute and also the challenges and concerns that may be encountered if the grading method is used. Explain your answer. Sa pinadaling sabi, you analyze and give comments on the grading system of the K-12. Next. Apply na agad. Okay. So this chapter underscores grading under the K-12 curriculum. For this activity, you need to recall and use what you have learned in the previous chapters of this course. For each of the required level of assessment, namely written works, performance tasks, quarterly assessments, write possible appropriate assessment tools, both traditional and authentic. So sa written works, sa palagay mo, anong traditional assessment tools ang pwede mong gamitin at ano ang authentic? Kanina may mga listahan tayo, di ba, mga quizzes, quarterly assessment, ganyan, o kaya portfolios. So you include sa palagay mo alin ang pwedeng magamit sa traditional at sa authentic. The same with performance and the same with quarterly assessment. Pag quarterly assessment, most of the time, nandito tayo sa traditional. Yan. Pero pwede ka na rin gumamit ngayon ng authentic. Katulad sa oral communication, minsan pag final exam or fourth quarter quarterly assessments, nagpapa-speech sa halip na magpa-exam. Next. Effects of grading on students. This is what we call the effects of grading on students. 3, 2, 1. Una, maglista ng tatlong natutunan tungkol sa epekto ng grading sa students. Next, list 2 things you think will be beneficial effect ng grading sa estudyante. So we look on the positive. And this one, maglista ng isang insight na meron ka about the effects of grading on students, which is your personal insight. Next, magkakaroon ka ng PTC. Kailan yun? Plano ito ha. Saan gaganapin? Hindi siya confined na dapat sa school lang. Pwede rin, ang gamitin yung venue ay online. Okay? Yung sa kasalukuyan. Ano ang mga materials na kailangan mo? Ano ang gagawin mo before the conference, during the conference, and after the conference? Continue the next page for more details. And in planning the PTC, ano yung mga key ideas or topic na i-discuss mo during the conference? Pangalawa, ano yung questions na itatanong mo sa parents during the conference? Please provide 5, ha? Magkabila. Next, you need to compute for the following. So given the grades provided below of 3 senior high school horticulture students, compute for their average grade in crop production. So TVL ito. Develop a class record for your answer. WW is written works. PT is performance task. QA is quarterly assessment. So si Jenica Reyes, Lisa Mata, and si Diego Sinag. WW1, 9/10. 3/10, 8/10. I want you to make yung class record na katulad noong kanina. Okay? You can put that class record here. Hindi ko na i-require ang Excel dahil hindi naman ito technology for teaching and learning subject. Question? May tanong?
Wala po, sir.
Okay.
Wala.
That's good.
Wala po.
Mag-aral ng mabuti. And thank you so much. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you po, sir.
Po, sir.
Thank
Sir.
Salamat po.